All right, everyone, welcome to our team call tonight. It is May 21st, and we've got a great lineup for you. And when we were marketing the call to our team, we were so excited that this is a start call. So everyone is under 35 that is going to be sharing with you tonight. But we wanted to make sure that even the people over 35 would get some tremendous value out of this call. So I'm glad I see both age ranges here represented, and I'm super fired up for this call. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to actually bring John on first, because John is the reason that we got some of our very special guests here tonight. So Chelsea, I've never even met before. Jared and Shreya, I have, and I'm just so thrilled you guys are here. Did I say that right? I didn't, did I?
It's no. Shreya, but that's totally okay.
Shreya.
So it's fine.
Gotcha. Well, now John will pronounce it properly, because I'm going to let him introduce you guys first. They're actually going to be speaking first, and I'm going to ask them some questions, and then they're going to be hopping off to get on their team call. So I know they have a little bit of a time crunch. So they're going first. And John, first of all, thank you, John, for helping line this up. I'm super excited for this call. And if you would really just introduce, your guests here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for getting on. So when Cindy came to me with the idea for this call, Jared and Shreya and Chelsea were the first people that came to mind. So I'm very happy they were able to get on this. And I actually first met all of them in NYKO this year. We were all recognized as top income earners together. We got to sit together all weekend, just chat, pick each other's minds. And, after NYKO, I came home, and a few weeks later, Jared just FaceTimes me out of nowhere and just starts coaching me for an hour. So and a lot of the things he gave me really helped me build my business since then. And so these guys are just awesome. They're abundant, and they just recently hit 4-star. They're Start 1000. They were the #1 income earners in under 25 this month, which is huge. And they're heading to top achievers in Maui next month. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear some of their information that they have, and what they do and what they've done to have so much success in their business.
Awesome. All right, guys. So let's first of all start off by huge thank you for giving up your time and being here tonight. I know Jared's mom is and dad, real great friends of mine. Your dad just left the most beautiful voice message for Scott and I last week, and just out of the blue. And that's why I just love this company and this business, because people that aren't financially linked will give you time and really help you. When I heard you reached out to John like that, Jared, I was just so super impressed. I already loved you, but that just took it to a whole nother level. So thank you for investing in John and being with us tonight, you guys.
Of course. It's our pleasure. Absolutely.
Pleasure. Well, I know that, you are the son of the famous Trudy Maples. So I would like for you guys to share, your story getting started. Were you fired up on day one when she got started? Did it take you a while? Were you skeptical? Share a little bit of your story on how you guys got started.
Yeah, for us, my wife and I, we actually met in our first company. And my wife was building a big organization in that company, and we ended up stopping building that company just because of some moral character issues and things that we saw that we didn't really care for. And we kind of exited the industry for quite a bit. And if you guys don't know, my aunt is Tanya Kirkpatrick, because my mom, they're sisters. And she got started, and we just kind of watched for, went on for 15 months. And it's funny because I remember when I brought Tanya my product from my first company, she's like, don't ever do one of those things.
They don't work.
These products you can get at the store. It was so funny. And I was like, I could have enrolled her and my mom and just been set, right?
One on the left, one on the right.
That's not what happened. I'll tell you what happened. So anyways, we watched for a long time, 15 months into it. We ended up getting started. My mom got started, and she got us started. And, for the first 7 months, we really just used the products. We were getting married. I had just proposed that previous December. We're actually approaching 3 months married, which is pretty, 3 months.
3
years married. Don't let me forget.
June 6th.
June 6th, and it's been amazing. But, so we started using the products, and 7 months into it, we got back from the Dominican Republic and from our honeymoon, and all of my wife's friends were pissed that she didn't share what she was doing because she looked amazing on her wedding day.
I ended up dropping 20 pounds, and 3 dress sizes. So I had a pretty dramatic transformation, but it was over the course of 6 months. So like people that saw me every single day didn't really notice, but people that I was friends with on Facebook after the wedding and the honeymoon, they were like, what are you doing? Why didn't you tell me about it? And I was like, oh. Yeah. Then I really just turned to Jared and I said, okay, so all these people are interested. I feel like because we feel so good, we're doing a disservice by not sharing the product side of this. And then, of course, we have the incredible example of Trudy. And I was like, I feel like we're kind of doing a disservice by not sharing the opportunity as well. So we looked at each other and we said, if we can make people not feel like a dollar sign and just come at this from hearts of service, then I'm willing to give this a shot and give it a go. And we built in the pockets of our lives. I was going to school full-time, working full-time, and Jared was working full-time, and he actually lost his guaranteed salary 3 months into our marriage. And so that was a big fire that was put under our butts to figure something out, because it was really stressful and I was only making $1,400 a month doing property management full time, and
our rent cost $1,200 a month.
Yeah, it was.
So we were eating top ramens and shakes, baby.
We were
doing our thing, and we were starting to share in the pockets of our life. The big thing that she hit on was we really, because we had prior network marketing experience, and obviously not all companies are the same, thank God. We really were wanted to be careful and make sure that we never made anybody feel pressured or feel like they had to purchase anything. And that was all right. We had to get out of our own way with that. Mm-hmm. We were told 7 months in that we were being extremely selfish by not opening our mouths. And I was kind of like, ooh, I didn't like that one. It kind of hit me like, okay, I'm not being selfish. I'm just not saying anything. And then they were like, well, what if nobody told you? So it's the same idea. You got to think about the things that you've received from Isagenix and think about if that was never given to you. So we started building our business, ebbs and flows. You build this business out of desperation or inspiration. Remember that. When you're talking to people. For us, it was kind of a bit of both. My wife was the only solid income coming in. I was driving Uber. I was so embarrassed, guys. I was like that one guy, because I'm so entrepreneurial, but I was driving Uber because I didn't want to go get a job, because I knew if I got a job, I wouldn't be able to put time into our business. Can you guys relate with that? Like you're trying to figure out how to make it work. And, slowly but surely, we started to build an organization. And obviously today we both live lives of not complete freedom, because I don't make what my mom makes yet, but for 24, we're doing pretty all right. And we're pretty blessed and excited to just continue to give back and serve others. I mean, this industry has drastically impacted our lives, and we know that it can do the same, not just for young people, but for any age, and provide freedom, whether that be a couple $100 a month or a couple $1,000 a month or a couple $100,000 a month, just depending on whatever you want it to look like. So.
Now, are you both full-time Isagenix?
Yeah, we've both been full-time Isagenix for the past, year and a half or so. When it replaced our incomes, we wanted to replace our incomes for our first few good months. And then obviously it's been very consistent, which has been a blessing, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. What's crazy about our business is our customer base is insane. Yeah. Like we have an incredible customer base. I was just telling John this on the phone the other day, like we don't have a million. Yeah, we never rank Advanced and Crystal executive. Like and at first, like that kind of bothers me, because I feel like I'm just getting really honest. Can I get honest with you guys? I'm like transparent. Perfect.
Put a thumbs up.
All right, perfect.
Okay, cool.
It's easy it's easy to feel like when you're growing and advancing in this company, when you're not rank advancing executives, you feel like you're not duplicating and you're not doing your job. When you see the Cindy Walters and the Trudy Maples, like just popping executives off, like it's oh yeah, you just enroll and then you go executive. It's just what you're supposed to do, And so for us, our customer base is wild, and we have lots of directors and managers, but hitting that rank of executive has just been something that we've really worked on to try and with our team and duplicate. But the base of this compensation plan, guys, is solid, loyal customers. Okay, you'll never get away from that. That's a strong. If you want a strong network marketing business, get customers that are emotionally connected to the product, and they will never stop ordering it. And so often we try and have people. We want 1 million Trudys or Cindys, right, or 1 million Johns or Tylers. We want like Chelsea's. Rock stars, right? But we spend so much time looking for the rock stars that we just forget that it's okay to have somebody that just enrolls 1 or 2 people every couple months, but they order every single month. You know what I'm saying? And when that starts to duplicate and starts to multiply itself, you find yourself going, wow, this is a really solid business center.
And we have a lot of people that do a little bit, and we celebrate every single milestone, even if it's enrolling their first person or their 30th, or if it's, getting a box of free vitamins or anything, whether it's big or small, we recognize that.
Yeah.
And I think young people, I do notice that. And I think, your whole team, your mom, your aunt, the recognition is absolutely huge for your whole entire team. And I love that. All right. What time do you guys have to get off by?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Good. Okay. So can I bring Chelsea on and then come back to you a little bit? You're good till what time?
We have,
I would say 6:30.
So we have
bounce out.
Unless you just want to ask us a few more questions right now, then we can bounce you off the Chelsea.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll finish up with you, and then we'll focus completely on Chelsea because we're super excited about her too.
She's pretty important. You definitely want to focus on her.
Well, we totally became like accountability partners after we walked in my KO stage in 2017. So I love Chelsea.
Well, we walked twice with her. We walked with her 16 and 17.
The first time.
And we got closer and closer every time. We're like, hey, we're both building. Let's go.
The cool thing about the START communities, we're all so close. And I feel like there's not a lack of abundance mentality within the top income in START. And I think that's one thing that majorly sets us all apart.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So I want to know, and I'm sure my team would love to know, do you primarily attract young people? Do you strive to attract young people? Do you strive to attract stay-at-home moms? Like what? Tell us about that.
All right. So when we got Isogenics, I was on a mission. I wanted to help every 21-year-old that just wants to freaking blow this thing up. No.
Squad.
Didn't happen. Okay. Because to be honest with you guys want, or some people, I'm just speaking to you, if you want to build a young team, you think, man, if I could just get a Jared and a Sharia and a Tyler and a Chelsea and a John, man, I would just be killing it. But guys, I'm going to say this the most humble way possible. The young people that are killing it on this call right now, we're anomalies. I promise you, because I've been looking for them. I've been looking at my peers and my friends, and honestly, don't waste your time looking for the young stud. They will show themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think that the meat and potatoes, and this is actually what I talked about on that call that he was referring to, when I just called him out of the blue, was, dude, focus on the demographic of the 30 to 35-year-old that has experienced what it's like to need these products and can afford the products. Obviously, everybody can afford these products, but I'm talking about long-term affording these products and making them a part of their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. When you're talking to a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, they're like, dude, I still have my high school abs and I'm chilling. They're not gone yet. I'm feeling somewhat okay. I drink 4 nights a week and I just don't really see it being that important to me. And then they're really fired up and they get started. And then 3 months later, they won't answer your phone call. That's what we experienced a lot of in our beginning of our build. We wanted to just rock and roll with young people. As soon as we started to plant our flag with more mature and seasoned individuals, that's when our sustainability of our business just skyrocketed.
Yeah, and another thing that we do really well, and we've been taught this from Trudy down, is working with everyone in our team layers deep. So there are people that are 8, 9, 10 layers deep in our business that we don't see on our ISOPULSE or in our back office, but we see them being active in the business page and their enrolling sponsors recognizing them. And we reach down and we say, hey, I see you're moving and grooving. We're here for you. We'd love to serve you any way that we can. And that's the really cool thing. So we have a few people, a couple layers deep, that are super close to executive, one in particular, and we have several people director close to executive. So we really focus on building those layers deep and not worrying just about our personally enrolled, and it's been paying us dividends in the leadership pools especially. Yeah,
and I wanted to touch on too, at the beginning we had this mindset that we could only appeal to young people because why would somebody else older than me listen to me? And that was a lie that I was telling myself for a long time. If you're young on this call or younger, or you feel like you can't speak, and vice versa, if you're older and you feel like you can't speak to young people, there's no gap, guys, between humans. There's ego, and that needs to be dropped on both sides, but it's just communication. I'm starting to pick up golf now, and it's funny because I'll go golfing with these 65-year-old dudes, And I feel like we're just talking like we're old souls, like just friends, you know, and there's 40, 50 years gap, but I don't treat it as there's a 40, 50-year-old gap talking to them like they're an old man. I just talk to them like, what's up, dude? You know, and they're just like, what's up, man? I have Facebook, you know, add me. And it's just really funny because when you don't talk to, when you treat people just as friends and treat them as normal and not be weird, you know, I think a lot of times people are like, what do you say to a young person to get them fired up? I'm like, it's no different than like talking to like my mom or like an uncle. It's like no different. Just talk to them. Tell them what we do. That's it.
The one thing that I think is the common denominator, regardless what age you are, is time freedom. That's one thing that especially people our age or even younger and graduating college, they need time freedom and they are miserable. And so being able to speak to that. So whenever I talk about freedom, yes, we talk about financial freedom a little bit, but we talk heavily about time freedom. And one of our biggest, most exciting goals is to be able to stay home with our kids when we choose to have kids. And that's going to be really, really special because, I mean, Jared's, both of his parents were working crazy hours as he was growing up. And they were actually just talking about it last night as Nathan was leaving, you know, or as Nathan was getting to the baseball field, Trudy was leaving because she had a Pampered Chef show. And so talking about that transparency and what the time freedom can really do for people and their families is huge. Yeah.
Well, we also made the emotional connection. I said, Mom, I remember being at third base and seeing you grab your bag and walk away and go get in your car and leave. It hurt. I was like, man, I really wish my mom was here for my game. And you may not be thinking, if you guys have small kids, you may not think they notice that kind of stuff, but I remember it still to this day, you know, and that's been the biggest driver for me and why I like to vision cast with people is because people want to associate with something that's real for them. And for me, I never want to be that dad that's, hey, I'm working 60, 70 hours, son. I don't have time to throw a ball with you. I'm going to be gone for 4 days. Babe, take care of the kids. Like, I don't want that lifestyle. I want you wake up every day. We make some protein pancakes, you know, with our isolene, and we go to the park and do our thing and have fun and just live that lifestyle that everybody wants, but we're actually making it happen, which is exciting.
And you want to work with people that see the long-term vision and are worried and concerned and excited about the future, not just today. And that's something to be looking for in all age demographics that you're talking to. It doesn't matter if someone's 18 or 65. If they have that old soul and they're talking long-term and they have goals, pay attention to that because it's really easy to recognize when you're asking the right questions.
Yeah. And then another thing I want to touch on is we've gotten extremely bold in our business, guys. Don't be afraid to be super bold and pre-qualify people. Your guys' time is so valuable and there's a million billion people that need this nutrition. Okay. So when you're talking to people, take it off of Facebook Messenger. If they're not willing to get on the phone, then forget it. They're not ready. And you don't want to get people started that aren't ready because those are the people that order Value Pack. They get 25 days in. They've drinking 2 canisters of shakes and have the whole entire box left. And they're like, this thing doesn't work.
And then they return it, and you're one cycle away from a rank advancement. And then their return processes.
So that's what happens when you get people started that aren't ready. And we always tell our team, guys, if you're living your lifestyle out loud on social media and you're being consistent and you're adding people to the funnel, which I'm sure you guys have a product page or whatever page you put people in for information, and you're always adding 5 to 10 people a week, you will enroll 2 people a week. It's just math. It's just the way it works because people are going to sit in there. They might sit in there for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. We still have people to this day that are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, how do you not know what we're doing? And we get them started. And it's crazy because you don't realize how your consistency is going to pay you years down the road. And it's so important because when people want to give up or just when they're like, oh, this isn't working, guys, somebody somewhere in some state is watching you. And when you quit, you let them down. I promise. Okay. So that's just something I want to throw out there too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And I think honestly, one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten so far from this is, one of the questions I was going to ask you is how do we talk to young people to attract them? And you pretty much just said, talk to me like you talk to anybody else. I'm no different than anyone else. And I think we overthink that. We think we need to talk a certain way to be able to attract young people. And it's just not that way. So I love that. And I love I think a lot of us have that preconceived notion that, gosh, if I could just find just find a couple of these young people, it'll blow up my business. And, you know, it could be that way with someone of any age. If it's the right person, they'll blow up your business.
I'm looking for a couple Cindy's. If you know anybody, I'm looking for a couple. I'll trade you 2 young rock stars for 2 of you.
If it were only that easy.
Right?
Thank
it's
you.
funny at both ends. Both sides are saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is, we don't need to sit and pray and wish. We just need to get out there and post and do our thing and live our lives out loud and talk about these products. And just, you know, I tell our team all the time, when you're listening for problems that you have solutions for, your life is different, right? You walk into Starbucks, you're ordering your drink, you're listening to the realtor talk to the client. The client's like, oh, I'm just so tired. And then you're grabbing your drink and you're like, oh, hey, by the way, I have one of these things. You drop it off to them and give them, hey, add me on Facebook. We do it all the time. It's hilarious. When our teams are around us, we're like, it's so weird. You just add people on Facebook. I'm like, dude, it's life. That's just what you do. You just connect, you know? And it's funny because random friends on Facebook's like one of those guys we gave an e-shot to 2.5 years ago at our bank, like the bank teller.
Yep.
He literally just called us and got a value pack, him and his wife. He's like, dude, I've been watching you guys on Facebook for 2.5 years. I've never liked anything.
Never commented.
But I'm ready. And I'm like, okay.
So that's a golden nugget right there. I hope you guys remember that one. That's awesome. Well, I love you guys. I cannot wait to spend more time with you, get to know you better. I'm going to be seeing your parents next week in Maui, so I'm super excited to spend.
You'll be seeing us in Maui too.
We'll be there.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. I think I did know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Chelsea and us, we're actually the youngest people there. So
all right. We have got to have a drink together. I can't wait to spend some time with you.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Thank you guys so much. And I know you've got to get off whenever you do, but we are all so grateful for you and for your time tonight. And wish you
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we're humbled, and however we can help serve, I hope you guys got some nuggets out of that.
And hey, when you need some help creating executives, I'm happy to repay the favor.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. I love that.
We'll plan. Right, we'll plan in Maui. We'll see you guys.
All right. Yes. Good night. See ya.
I love it. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, and John, I'm going to bring you back out to introduce Chelsea, I just realized today, John put 2 and 2 together for me, who your mom is. So I'm super, super excited to hear from you tonight too. So go ahead, John.
Yeah, so Chelsea's absolutely killing it as well. She's spent the past few months in Bali building her business all online. Like we just said, she'll be in Top Achievers for Maui. I didn't know you guys were the youngest people there. That's awesome as well. We're all 24. She's consistently top 5 income earner at Start, and everything I've seen her produce in terms of presentations, just speaking, and her content is all amazing. So I knew that bringing her on this call, you guys would get some very valuable information from her. So let's bring her on. I want to hear it.
Well, welcome, Chelsea. And I know some of my team is from Boston area, so they've probably heard you speak and they've met you before. They're all waving their hands frantically here and are huge fans of your mom's. And your mom, I actually met at my first Top Achiever when I went by myself. My husband didn't go. I didn't really know anyone except 2 people in my upline. And I was honestly a little uneasy to go to that event. And I met your mom and a couple of her teammates, and we hung out the whole entire time. So I just adore your mom. So we're so excited to hear from you today. Oh, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Awesome. Yeah, my mom is the life of the party. So if you met her at an event, you guys must have had a great time.
She's amazing. So please share your story, because there's a lot of people here that have not heard your story. Your mom's been in this industry for a while. So a little bit about your story. Yeah. When did you decide to start working this business? What kind of flipped that switch for you?
So my story is very different than most people's story, but I love sharing it because I think it really shows the power of this industry. So I decided to go into network marketing when I was 12. My parents were not in the industry at the time, but they had been in the industry in multi-level marketing when they were in their early 20s. And growing up, they had been serial entrepreneurs. They did their own thing. And I distinctly remember the day that I had started wearing makeup for the first time. I loved it. So I invited all my friends over, did their makeup, and they went home and bought it. And I knew what network marketing was. So I was like, Mom, I figured it out. I'm going to be a professional network marketer. And it just made sense, to a child who doesn't have all these hangups, who doesn't care about what people think of them. It was I like talking. I saw a lot of pictures of girls in gowns, and I was convinced this was the only way I was ever going to be a princess. Like, this is what was going through my head at 12 years old. Like, it just made sense to me. And I really hung on to that belief all through growing up. So when I was a senior in high school, I actually took an independent study in marketing and studied network marketing. When I went to college, in my college interviews, I was like, I'm going to do network marketing. So the industry for me, I've been in love with it since I was a child. And I really think that's the path we're going down. Like, I think it's really important for you guys to understand that this is not just something anymore. Like, this is becoming one of the most revered professions in the world. It is an online franchise, and it is the next generation of professionals. So your children will be rising up, and it will just be like one of those things you can also do. Like, you know, there's accounting, there's finance, there's network marketing. And I truly, truly believe in the next 10 to 15 years, the opportunity of network marketing is going to diminish some, because everyone's going to be involved in one. It's not going to be, are you involved? It's going to be, which one are you involved? I mean, you can just look at where influencer marketing is going online right now. But when it comes to Isagenix, I was introduced to Isagenix when I was 18. So I was introduced by my mom. She had got started on the products because she was struggling with her health. And after having a transformation with her health, she was, you know, talking to Kathy. Kathy and her were friends from, Kathy Cooper and her were friends from being in the industry in their 20s. And she decided to get started on the business model because of how incredible Isagenix did it right. Similar to what Jared and Shreya were saying, not all companies are created equal. And she had her heart broken in other companies. And for me, it was really cool because I always knew I wanted to get back into this industry, but I wanted to get into this industry, but I didn't think they would get back into it with me. So I started using the products. I had an amazing transformation with the products. And it took me 4 years of just being a customer, doing my thing at college, knowing that long-term I wanted to do Isagenix, but just not knowing, you know, when it was going to be the right time for me. I didn't think I would do it straight out of college because I had, you know, I was graduating at the top of my class at one of the #1 schools in the world for business. I had lots of opportunities to graduate making 75, 80K a year. And I didn't see a lot of young people doing it. And then when I went to a celebration event and I saw the START movement, which was brand new, mind you, at the time, like this is when it was small. Like I went to START like events with like the size of this room that I'm in right now. And I saw young people that were making a difference and that were able to live a life of freedom and were able to create a career for themselves. And for me, I was like, this is a no-brainer because I'm going to start at the bottom of some career. I might as well start at the bottom of this career. Like we're going to spend 40 years building something. It might as well be learning the skills and building towards what I want to be, my own freedom.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So then out of college, you started building, and how quickly did it take off for you?
Yeah. So going into my senior year, I started building, and I was building the most half-ass that you could possibly build. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. You're like, all right, I've been to an event. I'm going to build. This is it. And I'm going to solidly think about it for 6 months. And in my head, I've reached out to at least 100 people. I might not have told them yet. And I don't know why they haven't gone on board because like I've had a couple conversations with them in my head. So that was kind of where I was at. I had a lot of fear and a lot of mental blocks and just distractions going on. But I had gotten myself to a place where I was making a couple $100 a week, and I graduated college and decided to just move home, you know, live with my parents, learn from them, and start building. So it's been 3 years now, and it took me 2 solid years to get to 3-star. And I'm hopefully fingers crossed, pray for me. I'm going 4-star this week. That is my push week. So it took some time to get it off the ground and really create those residuals, but you make the money in the front end with all the bonuses that they have available to you. I think I made $20,000 in my first 6 months, all in front end money. That was really substituting my life while I was building the back end.
That's fabulous. That's awesome. All right. So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Jared and his wife, and that is, do you try to enroll younger people? Is your story the same as theirs?
Yeah, so it's funny because everything they were saying, I was like, I could just jump off the call right now. Like that is exactly what I would say for every single question.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I completely agree with them. And I think that the reason for that is that young people have lower pain points, right? So when you're coming into a network marketing business, it's because you have pain points. We're providing solutions for people. And the pain is either that your health isn't where you need it to be, or your finances aren't where you want it to be, your time. And so what I have found when I was exactly like Jared and Sheree. When I first got started, I was like, all right, I want to be the Peter Kelly. I want to get all the young people. I'm going to have this team of 20-somethings. We're going to travel around the world. We're going to just be like, yeah, hype. And that dream crashed and burned so quickly. And it was a real check if I was committed to this business. And I think that it's not even just with young people. Like, I think we all come on board and we're like, I'm going to get my whole family. I'm going to get everybody involved. It's going to be epic. We're going to create this vision. And then you start to hit the realities of, okay, this is actually a lot of work to build. It's worth it, but it's a lot of work to build. But for me, what I built my business off of was, women. There's a butterfly in our room right now. Sorry. Is women that were in their 30s and their 40s. And so it happened to be that my best friend growing up, her mom got involved, and we just drove through those lines. And I'm very similar to Darren Shry. I drive really, really deep. And my customer base is so strong. So I don't rely on push weeks to make my income from the month. I don't rely on, different types of promotions and hype to make it happen. I have a really strong customer base of mostly 30 and 40-year-old women who love our products. Now I'm reaching a point in my life, though, that I have created this foundation. I have the story to prove it. And as I'm aging, now that I'm going to be 25 in a month, I'm starting to attract 27, 28, 29-year-olds who are hitting those pain points in their career where they're like, okay, like I'm young enough that I see myself wanting to make a difference in my life, but I'm old enough where I actually have a pain point, if that makes sense.
Sure. And I loved how Shariah said that. And you guys, both said that you have a lot of happy customers. So tell us, how do you do that? Because I work with a lot of people that retention is an issue for them. So it sounds like you guys are on the same page there with retention and happy customers. So share a little bit about that, because that might help this group too.
Yeah, I think that, it really just comes down to how many people you're sharing it with and how many people you get started. Like, the numbers are going to work out that, you're not 100% of people that get started are going to continue using the products. And I mean, just think about any product you've ever used. Like, do you use it every single month from now on? Or is it like every 6 months you're like, oh yeah, I should reorder that? Or, is it having an incredible experience? So I know for me, what it was is that we just drove home. In my first year, it was like in homes, getting people on the product, making sure that they had a great result, working with them one-on-one, really being committed to those customer experiences, and lots of them as fast as possible, and driving my lines. I always like to tell people, network marketing is not sales. It never will be sales. And if you treat it like sales, you will fail. And if you believe that you can't do it because it is sales, you'll be in a bad situation. Network marketing is building a network, and you can't do that through sales, because in sales, you're earning 40% commission on a item. So if I was to sell a press pack, I might be making $200, $300. And I've done sales before. I did Cutco. We make 6% off of building a huge network, and that is based on our ability to duplicate. It is based on our ability to have people share. We don't just, go out there and become sponsor monsters. Like, I can tell you right now, I've enrolled just under 100 people in 3 years. And that 100 people turned into 1,000 people because of how much I focus on driving my line. And you'll have better customer experiences that way when you have one person who had a great customer result, so they share with 5. And then those 5 people, you take them and you say, okay, out of these 5 people, maybe one of them wants to share with 2. And out of those 2 people, one of them wants to share with 1. And right now I have someone 4 PET from me that just dropped 40 pounds in their first 2 weeks. And someone 3 PET from me who, wants to start doing the business. And it's really focusing on not who can you get involved, but are you really driving what this industry is, which is building a network, which is a group of people on top of a group of people on top of a group of people on top of a group of people.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think a big problem a lot of people have is they come in and they don't feel like they have a big network, and they don't know how to expand their network. So what advice would you give to people that are like, all right, how do I grow that network?
Yeah. I think that's the biggest fear in network marketing. Like, I think 1 is talking to people, and 2 is meeting new people. And I think the only way you build your business is talking to people and meeting new people. Like, that's literally the lifeblood of network marketing. If I had to give 2 advice on what to do, it's those 2 things, but those are the things that we fear the most. And my advice around that is that this is a no-fail business. And what we mean by that is not that every single person is going to succeed at the same rate, and not every single person is going to have the same amount of ease creating it, but that every single person has equal opportunity. That opportunity is based on your current network. It's based on what that network's interest is. It's based on your influence over your network. It's based on all of those different things. But you can create a new network at any given point in time. There's so many people that I have met in this industry and that I've brought on board. And I said, look, I'll be frank with you, because I'm kind of like a no bullshit leader. Like, that's just how I lead my team. I said, I'll be frank with you. Your network sucks. Like, you have a lot of people in your network who are not interested in changing their health, who are constantly struggling with their finances in their mind, that they don't want to overcome that. You need to create a new network, which means going to networking events, creating an online profile that people are attracted to, actively connecting. Just like Jared and Shreya said, I am the same as them. Like, I will ask the lady at Forever 21 who's hanging up the racks if I can add them on Facebook. I will ask the person at Stop and Shop. I actively go out and I travel a lot because it builds my business. There's nothing that will build your business faster than getting out of your own city, going to see new things, going to do new stuff. And I personally, when I coach my people, when they build their list, I said, you should have 3 lists at all time: your hot list, your warm list, and your cold list. And you should be working all 3 of them at the same time, because otherwise we're going to get really weird and desperate, because you're going to run out of hot leads. You should never be prospecting someone who's not a hot lead, because you want it to be a relationship business. So while you're prospecting the people that it's not weird for you to talk to, at the same time, you should be reconnecting with old friends just for the sake of reconnecting it. And at the same time, you should be making new friends just for the sake of making new friends, and constantly be updating those lists and shifting them to the hot section, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to ask both Tyler and John, if you guys can both unmute, because I want to pull on this conversation now. And what I want, I know John's done a lot of traveling, and that's really helped his cause for sure. And Tyler just quit his full-time job to do Isagenix full-time. So what I'd like you guys to share, and you guys can pipe in on your own here, but I'd like you to share with everyone, what advice can you give to us? Because, for us, I don't target an age group. I'm not targeting. I mean, I've attracted a lot of stay-at-home moms because that's what I've been. That's kind of what I've attracted. Tell us, like, what do you guys feel has helped you build your network? Is it social media? Is it learning how to market yourself, how to brand yourself? Tyler, when it's your turn, I want you to share about that matrix that you do each day. But one of you guys, if you would just share, what do you feel sets you apart, that gets you, Tyler's not with you yet, but he'll be in that top 10 with you guys at start. What sets you guys apart? What do you do differently?
I think for me, I intentionally have done things just because I knew it would help improve my business. So, like, obviously the traveling was huge for me. It showed people, I'm traveling the world, I'm doing well, and I'm just living life on my own terms. So that made people want to be able to do what I'm doing. And then on top of that, though, I came back and then I was like, all right, well, what else can I do to take my business to the next level? And that's when I decided to get my personal training certification and just start documenting my workouts, what I'm eating, my healthy lifestyle, and just showing people how that they can be healthier. And because people are just following me, and we don't ever really post like, here, Isagenix, put this, like, take a picture of your shake and put it on Instagram. But people just saw the transformation I was undergoing, the positivity, and just the energy I was giving off made them want to come and join me and do what I'm doing. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things for me has been just committing to the health when I committed to the Ice Body Challenge. And although I didn't win, I got honorable mention, but just doing that made people want to be around me. And then obviously the traveling as well. People see you're living a lifestyle like that, and they're going to work every day, working 9 to 5 in a job they hate, and they want to figure out a way that they can escape that and do what you're doing. So those have probably been the biggest things for me personally.
And I know that's one of the things that got Tyler fired up, was watching your lifestyle. Right, Ty?
100%. Yep. That's, talk about pain points. That was it for me. I wanted the freedom, so for sure. So for me, before I even knew this business was for me or like had any interest, I knew that building a network was important. So I was, in a good position when I decided to put intention to it. I had a good network in place, and the way I built it was I was involved in a lot of different things. Like in college, for instance, I played on the football team, so I was friends with all the meathead football players. I played guitar, so I was friends with music guys. I was an engineering student, so I was friends with, smart, nerdy engineers. I was best friends with all the basketball players. So like I always made an intention to like not spend too much time with one circle of people. And like, yeah, I did that before I started building this business. But that's the same way you can do it. Like when you start, like be intentional that you're not doing the same things every day. Like get involved in different activities, get involved in different groups. Like Chelsea said, go to different cities. And like, I've always been big on that. And I love meeting new people. So that's how I did it. And the way I, monetize that with this business, with this awesome vehicle, is completely through social media. Like all these people that I've met through all these different avenues, had followed me on Instagram, but I was never intentional on social media. And I wasn't even really active. Like before I went to NYKO and talked to John and decided I'm going to do this, I posted on Instagram like once every 3 months, honest to God, like barely ever. And I just made a decision, like the Instagram is the way I'm going to do this. I have the people in place. I'm just going to be intentional. And I just started posting a post on my wall like every 3 days. I was working full time at this point. I did stories every day of my lifestyle, and it just blew up like that because all these people I had relationships with, once I started putting value into their lives through social media content, it took off. And now, I've gone through a lot of those warm market people. So the matrix that Cindy, my mom, is talking about is, I'll show you if you can see it. Every day in my planner, I'm writing out this matrix. So I didn't create this. I got this from Simon Chan, who has a great podcast called MLM Nation. He has a really goofy voice that kind of is annoying for some people, but you should listen to his content because it's really good. And his daily method of operation is this matrix, which is a couple things you should do every day. So this is, now that I'm full-time, I'm doing this every day in an effort to connect with new people, because while I was working full-time and doing this, I didn't have a lot of time to go to networking groups, do these things. I was working a full-time engineering job, trying to build this, at night when I got home, essentially. And luckily, like I said, I had built a good network at that point, and it was a little bit quicker for me. If you're starting from square one, you got to get out and get in those different groups and meet those people. But this matrix that I'm doing now is 3, 5, 5, 3. So you're going to do 3 things, 5 things, 5, 5, and 3. So I'm going to tell you what they are. The first one is 3 pieces of online content. So Facebook Live, Instagram post, story. I mean, if I post on my story 10 times, I don't count that as 3. It's one story is one story. Blog, if you have a blog, that kind of thing. 5, the first 5 is connect with 5 new people. So this can be meeting someone at Starbucks. This can be friend requesting and messaging a new person on social media that you found. This can be, personal or downline even. If you have someone that's enrolled that says, hey, I'd like to connect you with my mom, she's interested, that's a new connection. So that's that. 3 online content, 5 new connections. The second 5 is invite 5 people to take a look. So every day, 5 people need to reach out to them and ask them if they're interested in health solutions. Or maybe you see them post a story about, can't wait till Friday, and you reach out and say, hey, I have a great business opportunity for you. Whatever it is, you're reaching out to 5 people and inviting them to take a look. The last 5 is 5 follow-ups. The last 5 is 5 follow-ups. So people that have already seen a video, been to a presentation, that you've talked to on the phone, etc., following up. We all know how important that is. And then the final one is getting 3 people to see a presentation every day. And so it's, in summary, 3 pieces of online content, 5 new connections, 5 invitations, 5 follow-ups, and 3 presentations. So that's it. It's might sound ambitious to people that have like full-time jobs. And like Simon Chan says, if you only have so much time, just cut those numbers back. If you have more time, double the numbers. But following that has really helped me stay accountable now that I am doing this full time and still have a big build ahead of me. I know that connecting with people and getting people into the funnel, getting people on the HHP Facebook page, like that's important. And this has really helped me because I write this out every day. I have these boxes, and like if I get to the end of the day and they're not filled, like today I'm 1 short on new connections and I'm 2 short on presentations. Like I'm going to circle that in green, highlight it, make sure like, it hurts because I should have hit that today. But, it's tough. I'm not going to lie, especially the connections and the presentations, like Chelsea said, like that's what makes us money, but that's the hardest thing to do and like what we are afraid of. Yeah. And, it's just been a great way to keep myself intentional.
Awesome.
Cindy, can I add something quick?
Yes.
My personal favorite way to meet or to get new people in my network is just meeting them in person. Like, for example, I was in the barber shop the other day and I heard this guy in the chair complaining to my barber about this weight he couldn't lose. And, he was just like, oh, this is such a bitch. Like, I can't lose this weight. What do I do? And my barber's like, oh, like maybe stop eating some carbs. Like he didn't really, he was giving him terrible advice. And the guy got up, and I was like thinking, if Cindy was watching me right now and didn't say anything to this guy, she would absolutely kill me. So he walked over. I'm like, hey man, like, are you having problems with like losing weight? Like, what's going on? And he started complaining to me, and I'm like, well, this is what I do full time. I help people get in shape and feel better. I was like, we should talk sometime. And I made him put his number in my phone to connect with him. And then I reached out to him, and we're meeting up tomorrow. So it's like, I like to just don't be afraid in public to go talk to people. If you overhear something like that, especially, that's just a cry for help. Like, people are literally looking for you. So, and like I just like to have conversations with people in person, get their information, like make them put it into your phone too. I think that's important, because you can give them a business card or give them your number, but that won't mean that they're going to reach back out to you. So that's a huge way I like to build my network. And do you mind if I just ask Chelsea a question really quick, just to add on?
Go for it.
Because I really like your social media. I think you kill it with that. I was just wondering, like, when did you decide to make the change to be that intentional with social media, and what do you think it's done for your business?
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. My social media has done everything for my business. And that's a really good question, because I was very similar to Tyler, where I had not posted at all on social media beforehand. Like, I was the girl who, if you tagged me in a picture, that's great, but I never was taking pictures, didn't post stories. I remember when Instagram first came out, and I was like, this is stupid. Why would I post pictures of my food? Like, I just didn't understand the concept. But I went to an event, and Emily Vavra was speaking on stage, and she said, you are not in this business unless you're online in this business. Like, that's just the business of the 21st century. And so I was like, all right, well, you know, I like to duplicate success. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to do what I'm told to do. So I started posting, and it was very, very uncomfortable. Like, guys, like, if you scroll back on my social media, you'd be like, this is awkward. It's weird. Like, you can tell she's uncomfortable. The pictures were horrible quality. And it's a journey, and it takes time to get better at it and to be more confident with it and to be comfortable sharing online. But why it's so important to my business is because of how I treat it. I'm very similar to you guys, where like, I like to prospect in person. And I think that's a dying art. I honestly think it's a dying art in our industry, that everyone wants to sit behind a computer screen, and they want it to they just want to snap their fingers and have an automated business, and people just fall at their doorstep. Like, that's not going to happen, guys. Like, this business is based on if you can create value for people. And so the way I use my social media I think of it as a slow drip campaign. So I meet people out in person, I connect them back into my social media, and then I am just really, really human with extreme speed online. And it's not because I'm not selling Isagenix. I'm not selling even anything other than just being myself. And so what I tell people all the time is that there's prospecting and there's connecting, and you don't want to get those two confused, because they're very different things. Prospecting is asking someone to take a look at this business. Connecting is getting to know somebody and finding common ground. Social media is for connecting. It's not for prospecting. That is not the place where you're going to say, you know, hashtag PM me, hashtag buy now, because it's not an online marketplace. People go into Facebook to create relationships, to build relationships, and to have networks of friends. So I'm just extremely transparent on my social media, and it took me years to get to that place. And that's a choice. Like, it could have been faster, but it did take me a while. And I just showcase everything. And I find, like, I will post a video about how being in your 20s is hard because no one told you that without having clubs, you're going to have way too much free time on your hands. And I got 3 enrollments from that. It had nothing to do with Isagenix, because they know what I'm doing. They know that I'm used Isagenix. I'm loud and proud about being in shape and that stuff, but they connect with me on other things. So I'll post something funny about being single on Valentine's Day, and get 10 people messaging me about that start relationships with them, talking to them about the business eventually. So, you know, that's my biggest advice on social media, is that it's a place of connection. So just be yourself, share your life. And I remember when I first started, like, I wasn't that interesting of a person, and I wasn't in a relationship, and I didn't have a baby, and I didn't have a dog. So I was like, what the heck am I supposed to post about? So I had to become an interesting person. Like, if that's where you're struggling, like, you know, I started reading. So I started posting about personal development, because I was like, that's something that I can add value to people's lives. So I started doing the reading and posting. I got into spirituality. I really liked, like, the universe and like that, like woo-woo stuff. It started adding, I like traveling. So I started posting about traveling. Like, find out what it is that makes you an interesting person. Like if you like photography, if you love coaching Little League, like whatever it is, pick 2 or 3 things that make you you. Like when you think of Emily Vavra, you know that she loves fashion, that she is a Vikings fan, and that she has a network marketing business. She's a businesswoman. So those are like her 3 things. Like, that it's not just Isagenix. And so that's really, social media has been everything, because I take my prospects, I drop them on into there, and then I let them cultivate, and then I pull them back out when they're ready. And it's kind of like this. It's like I have a high turn. Like most people, it takes 9 touches. I can usually turn a customer over in 1 conversation because I had 45 touches with them online.
Yeah. Great point. Great point. All right, guys, one last question before we end the call. I would like each of you to share, what is your big why and vision at this point? Because I think that's going to be interesting for all of us, some of us that are a little bit older than you, to know young people coming from, like, I bet Jared and Shariah would say they want to be a full-time family. They want to be home with their kids. That's probably their driving why at this point. They might have a lot more to the picture. They're very charitable people. I'm sure that might be part of the equation for them. But Chelsea, why don't you start, and then we'll have John and Tyler go.
Yeah. I don't know if my why is very relatable, but I am just really, really driven by people living in their most exceptional self. Like ever since I was a kid, I couldn't understand why people couldn't dream. And so it's just my vision and my life purpose to just help people dream more. And it just fires me up every single day. So if you had asked me 2 years ago, it would have been to travel the world. And I think we have phases in our business. Like you're going to get on board for Isagenix for one thing, and it's going to turn into another thing later on. Sure. And you have to help yourself in the beginning. Like you have to help yourself first. So it might be your physical journey and then your own financial journey. Now that I've had success with both of that, like my big why really is just helping as many, and I really am passionate about millennials. So I focus on the 27-year-old range because I do shy away from the younger, but helping young professionals understand that there's a better way to live life, period. Not even just network marketing, that there's just a better way to live life, that you can live this more extraordinary, exciting happiness. And I truly believe that more people that are happy and fulfilled will create a crazy effect on our world. So, I love personal development. I love all of that. And that's just elevating our world by helping other people elevate themselves.
Okay. And let me reframe what you said. That's very relatable. That's not unrelatable at all. I think we can all relate to that. That's beautiful. I love it. And I cannot wait to see you next week. So I am just so grateful. All right, John, you're up.
Yeah, so I think a big thing for me is just seeing where me and my family came from before network marketing and where we're at now, and just all the doors that have been open in terms of just time freedom, financial freedom, the time we get to spend together, the events we don't have to miss. And I literally just want that for everybody. And I think it's so cool when you have someone on your products for 5 days and they text you, they're like, I've never felt this way before. And it's like, I just literally want every single person I can come into contact with to text me and be saying that stuff. And so that's a huge driving force for me. And in terms of my goals, I've just always wanted, there's all these business ideas I have, books I want to write, events I want to speak at. And I just know that network marketing is going to be the platform that gets me to go all these places. And just the fact that you can do that through helping people and just introducing them to a opportunity and tool that they can use to create the lifestyle that, I think everyone wants this lifestyle, just having this freedom and just being able to live. So that's really my driving force, just getting this to as many people as possible.
Awesome. All right, Tyler.
Yeah, so I'm kind of at a transition phase with my why, because a big thing for the last year and a half, 2 years has been to get out of corporate America. And totally transparent, like it sounds great when everybody has these like big, whys and they want to help the world and save the world. But like, honest to God, like for me, the driving force was completely selfish. I'm blessed that I had a vehicle. I was able to help people while I achieved it. But really what got me up in the morning, every morning to, do work in the morning before I went to work and get home from a long day and go work out and then come home and work for 3 hours. Like what got me going was the pain that I was experiencing in my career and wanting to get out of it. And I don't think there's any problem with having that selfish, why when you're using a vehicle to help others to achieve your why. And that's really, honest to God, that the pain was real. Like I hated going in there every day. And now, it's starting to transition because I achieved that and it feels amazing. And now that I've experienced this, I'm only a week and a half into self-employment. And now that I've experienced this feeling, I'm like, holy crap, like all these people that I met at my job, all my friends that graduated and went to get jobs, like I hear them every day with the same complaints that I have. They just can't envision any other way, because until, recently there hasn't been another way. And for some of them, they don't even know this exists. And, so that's where I'm kind of transitioning now. To this point, it has been 100%, not 100%. It's been about 90% selfish though. Like I wanted to get out of there now, just like John and Chelsea said, like it's time to like get other people here too, because, the two biggest things that we hear about, especially in our country, 70% of our people are overweight and unhealthy. And like 70% of them are not happy in their job or not making enough money. And like, we have a vehicle to do both of those things. So like, let's get it done for everybody. That's the new why.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think loud and clear what you guys have heard tonight to wrap this all up is that young people want financial freedom and time freedom, just like the rest of us do. So I don't care what age you are, what you're trying to attract, what you're trying to do. We all want that kind of freedom where we can do what we want, when we want, with whom we want, serve others, and to be able to be paid for it while helping other people is the most amazing thing. And, Chelsea said it so beautiful. Your vision and why can change. So Tyler was real honest with you and said, hey, I was selfish in the beginning. It's okay for you guys to have those desires. There's a lot of people on the call that have full-time jobs that want to get out. Raise your hand if that's one of you. Let me change my view. Lots of people. And so that is fine. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. And your vision will change and your why will change. And when the magic happens, it's when you realize that you will achieve every goal that you set out for yourself personally by helping other people achieve their goals. That's when the beauty happens. That's when the magic happens. And that's what this whole culture, our team culture, Isagenix as a whole, our whole culture is all around that. You will achieve your goals by helping others achieve theirs. Well, guys, I can't thank you enough. John, thank you for helping us get these amazing speakers tonight. Chelsea, I will see you in Maui next week. So excited for that. Hope to see a lot more of you at Top Achievers in Bahamas next year. And next week, guys, is Memorial Day, so we will not have a call. I may be posting a recording for you, though, instead, but no live call next Monday night. Enjoy your holiday. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, Chelsea, for showing up and providing for us tonight. And John and Tyler and Jared and Shariah. Love you guys.